In this video, we'll see about inflammation. So, we'll have a quick outline about inflammation. So, take any cell. So, if it is encountered by any foreign organism, if it is pathogenic in nature, then it is recognized by our body tissues. Our body tissue recognizes it and releases certain chemical substances. Certain chemical substances are released. So these chemical substances causes the defending members of our body to reach the site of infection. After reaching the site of infection, the defending members of our body tries to eliminate the foreign organism. It kills the foreign organism and also prevents the damage caused by the foreign organism. This is the overall outline. So any body tissue in our body, if it is exposed to a microorganism, then our body tissue recognizes it and releases certain chemical substance which causes the defending members of our body to reach the site and to compete against the foreign organism and kills it and also prevents the consequence of the microorganism. So on exposure to any infection, say it is a viral, bacterial or fungal infection, our body elicits a response. This response is called as an inflammation. So what are all the response? So the first will be the vascular changes occur in our body. And the second one will be the leukocytes. The WBCs will reach the site of infection. These are called the defending members. Not only WBCs, certain other cells also act as defending members. Reach the site, reach the infected site. And third one, these WBCs kill the microorganisms. So we'll deal with each topic in detail. Firstly, the vascular changes. The vascular changes is the first response in our body to any infection. So what are the vascular changes? First vascular change will be a vasodilation. And second will be increased permeability of the blood vessel to the vascular contents, such that there is an increased vascular leakage. So we'll deal with how these two are taking place. So in the vascular changes, the first change will be the vasodilation. In response to any infection, our mast cells in our body releases histamine. So histamine acts on the vascular smooth cell on the blood vessel wall. We have in the blood vessel wall, it is lined by 3 layers from outermost to inner: tunica adventitia, tunica media and then tunica intima layer. So tunica media layer is made up of smooth muscles. This histamine acts on this smooth muscles on the vascular system. So if it acts on the vascular smooth muscles, then it causes the dilatation of the lumen of the blood vessels. So the normal diameter will be this. After the histamine action, it will be an increase in diameter of the lumen. So it causes the dilation of the blood vessel. So what are the results of vasodilation? We'll see. So the blood vessels at the site of infected body tissue gets dilated, such that increased diameter of the blood vessel causes increased amount of blood present in that particular region. So increased amount of blood causes increased blood flow to this region. So the infected body tissue gets increased amount of blood. The increased amount of blood is the reason for the redness in the body tissue as well as the heat in the body tissue. Since an increased amount of blood, the redness color increases. If any region gets an increased blood, then the temperature in that body tissue will get increased. So it is the reason behind the heat production in the infected body tissue. So first one will be the redness in that body tissue, which is due to the increased blood flow, and second one will be the heat production in the infected body tissue, which is also due to the increased blood flow. The redness is called as rubor and the heat is called as scalar. Then we'll move on to the increased vascular permeability. So in the vascular changes, we have seen about the vasodilation. We'll move on to vascular permeability. So how does the increased vascular permeability occurs, we'll see. So in response to infection, certain chemical substances such as histamine, bradykinin, leukotrienes are released. These substances act on the endothelial cells of the blood vessels. It acts on the endothelial cells lining the blood vessel wall. So if it acts on the endothelial cells, it causes contraction of the endothelial cells. These cells gets contracted. So contraction of the endothelial cells causes the increased interendothelial space. So through this increased endothelial space, the vascular contents leak easily. So it is the reason behind the increased vascular permeability. Since these chemical substances are mediating the increased permeability to the vascular contents, it is a chemical mediated one. So secondly, if the endothelial cell itself is getting damaged by microbes or due to burns or due to the toxins released by the microbes, or in case of neutrophils, which is a participant in inflammation, it can also damage the endothelial cells. So if the endothelial gets damaged and it is lost, then there will be a space between the interendothelial cells. So the interendothelial space here also increases, which causes the increased permeability to the vascular contents as a result of increased vascular leakage. So finally, it is a very rare case. Vascular endothelial growth factor is released. This vascular endothelial growth factor can acts on the endothelial cell. It acts on the endothelial cell and expresses the intercellular channel on the endothelial cells. So if intercellular channel is present, through which the vascular contents can leak outside the blood vessels. So it is the reason for the increased vascular leakage. But it's a very rare case. The most common one is this one, which is a chemical mediated one. So we'll again see quickly. So certain chemical substance can cause contraction of the endothelial cells, which causes increased interendothelial space, so through which the vascular contents can leak. And secondly, the endothelial cell itself is damaged, then there will be an increased permeability to the vascular contents. Secondly, and then most rarely, if the induction of the intercellular channel in the endothelial cells, through which also vascular contents can leak. So we'll see about the result of vascular permeability. So due to increased vascular permeability, the vascular contents leak. What are the contents? So mainly the plasma fluid leaks, along with that plasma proteins also leak, and the WBCs also leak. If there is a normal interendothelial space, these two cannot leak, but in case of increased interendothelial space, it causes the plasma proteins and the WBCs to leak. In this video, we have seen about the vascular changes. The first one will be the vasodilation, and the second one will be the vascular permeability increases. So these are the first vascular changes, and then we'll move on to the leukocyte recruitment to the infected site in the next video.